Welcome to the Fayetteville Fire Podcast, your source for all the fire, safety, and sometimes random info you never knew you wanted. I'm Captain Stephen Shakeshaft, your host for the podcast, and I got the best job ever. Let's talk about it. How's it going, guys?
Doing pretty good.
Yeah, going good.
Good morning. Thanks for coming and hanging out with me this morning. I was kind of pondering what to do for the podcast this month and thinking about February and the month of love, Valentine's Day coming up, and your brain just kind of goes down rabbit holes. And I was like, wait a minute. I know I got a buddy who's married to a cop. That could be a fun conversation to have. So real quick, just introduce yourselves, tell us who you are and all that jazz.
I'm Lydia. I am the cop. I've been with Tyler for about 4 years now, right? 4 years. And so he met me before I became a cop. So.
Oh, that was going to be one of my questions. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, he met me before I became a cop.
All right. Tyler?
I'm Tyler. I'm the firefighter. As she said, we've been together for about 4 years, coming up on being married for 3. I've been with the city of Fayetteville for about 3 years, and I worked in the county for a couple years before that. But
how long all in the fire service?
This year will be 7.
Okay, cool. How long you been with PD?
It'll be 4 years in May.
Okay.
Yeah, 4 years in May.
So you answered one of my questions was, did you meet on the job or prior to all that stuff? So the dynamic of emergency services personnel married to each other is always unique. But being one fire, one cop, I can imagine we can have a little bit more fun with that conversation. So yeah, how did you guys get together and then you wind up being a cop? Was that something inspired by him or was that something you just wanted to do?
It was something I wanted to do before I met him. I originally wanted to get into forensics, and so I thought, I'll become a cop. That's probably a good pathway to get into it, but it actually isn't for anybody listening out there. You can, but it's not a direct path, but, I found I really enjoyed being a cop, so I just stuck with it. We actually met on Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah, knew some mutual friends, and he commented on a few of my pictures when I went to the mountains, and we just started talking after that.
Nice. Very cool. So what got you into the fire service?
So initially I wanted to be a paramedic. I had a buddy in high school.
But you learned better.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had a buddy, his dad was a trooper, and he knew a couple of the local county fire chiefs and had me talk to them. And he was like, look, if you want to be EMS, you can at least start with getting your EMT. They'll send you to school, and you'll volunteer for a little bit. And if you decide you hate the fire service, then you can always switch over. But I ended up liking the fire stuff a whole lot more than the EMS stuff.
Okay.
And now I'm here.
So you were already a full-time firefighter when you guys got together.
Mm-hmm.
How was that adjustment for you as at that point not in emergency services? Did you quickly get used to the lifestyle of random phone calls? Hey, I have to work.
Yeah, I did. My dad was military. He did 23 years in the Army, so I was kind of used to, having someone present is nice, but it's not always, I don't want to use the word necessary, but, you just get used to being gone sometimes, so.
Yeah. My lady was never in the emergency services, and she's gotten used to how it all works.
Yeah, it was definitely an adjustment, and honestly, I felt like I got to spend more time with him because he did have those days off in between and 4 days, so that part was nice. I got to spend more time with him. So
what kind of schedule are you working as a cop now? How does that work? I'm not sure how your schedules work because they're always changing.
Yeah, right now it's a short week and a long week. So on the short week we work 2 days, and on the long week we work 5. Short week, Monday, Thursday, or Wednesday, Thursday, and the long week, Monday, Tuesday, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So then we rotate days and nights every 4 months.
Still change days and nights?
Yep. I actually just switched over this past week. So
to days or to nights?
Back to days.
Okay.
Back to getting up early.
One thing I've seen with my cop buddies is you either love nights or hate them. There's no in between. There's people who only want to work nights, and there's people who want nothing to do with it. There's no in between, right?
Yeah, I like nights. With a baby, not so much.
Yeah,
a little difficult, but I do prefer nights.
So, Dad, you wind up with a little more time off with the youngin' than Mom does, right? How's that?
It depends on the day, but yeah, it's you definitely pick up on a little bit more stuff. As far as like what the baby likes, what the baby doesn't like. You pick up on the little nuances and stuff, so that's nice. Plus, me and her get to hang out all day together. Now that she's getting bigger, especially, she's more interactive. She's about to come up on her first birthday, so
nice.
She's getting interactive. She can play more.
Yeah.
And then by the end of the day, we're both exhausted.
You're easing up on how much overtime you work?
I mean, I've never been super crazy on working overtime. It's been a lot of part-time work in the county.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I'm usually doing about 4 shifts a month, give or take.
Okay. Still getting a little something extra in there. How's that work with, how difficult is it, I should say, with childcare? That's a real hot topic in the city right now, is some way to assist our employees with childcare, especially with 24-hour shifts. And what are you guys working, 12-hour days that turned into 16?
Yeah. Yeah.
So how does that work? How much of a challenge is that, and what solutions have you found as far as that goes with childcare?
So we're super lucky. Her mom is local to us, and so her mom is taking the brunt of the childcare. My parents live out of state, but they come in every 2 weeks to hang out and spend time with the baby and stuff.
Every 2 weeks?
Yeah, they live in South Carolina. It's about a 4-hour ride.
Oh, so it's not that far.
Yeah, but they come in every 2 weeks and spend the weekend and hang out. So very lucky to have family close to help us. And I mean, of course, we still have to make little adjustments and stuff like that. Everything that we do scheduling wise has to be planned.
When Captain Shakeshaft calls you 2 days beforehand and says, "Hey, can you work something out to be with me Friday morning?"
Well, you got lucky because my parents are in town, and
Okay.
yeah, they just came in last night, so they're watching the baby today.
Very cool. Very cool.
So we got lucky with that. But, before we had, because my mom does work, but we were looking into, I know the city, maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago, they started talking about a childcare program over off of Boone Trail. There's a lady out there who runs a daycare, but it has both days and nights and pretty flexible hours. So we were looking into that at first, but my mom said, "No, you're not putting that baby in a daycare. I'll take her, like, anytime I can have her, I'll take her." So
Is kind of circling back to when you talked about your starting with the police department, is that something that you took into consideration when deciding to go into that world? Did you look into that kind of thing and something you thought about? Was that something on your mind as a woman entering a predominantly male workforce?
yeah, it was, it was kind of a difficult thought. I thought, at some point I'd be, working as a detective, which has a little bit of a different schedule. It usually works 5 days a week, like a typical 9 to 5. And so I thought that would work better for having a kid, but turns out I love patrol. So I want to stick with that. And we're just lucky we found a way to make it work with a baby.
Was there any concern or discussion with your family about you both being in high risk jobs? Like, is that something the families kind of ask questions about?
Yeah, they do. My mom's been, just really hammering in the idea of, you guys need to have a will, you need to have a trust, you need to have all these contingencies, and yeah, it's important to have. So, just because there is a lot of risk in what we both do. So
Yeah. How often, if ever, do you guys wind up on the same call in town? Does that happen pretty regularly, or?
So it used to. She used to be assigned closer to like Nines area. So when I was at Station 8, we ran together a good bit because the areas kind of overlapped a little bit. So when she was over there, it was quite a bit. She got moved once she got off of baby leave. So she's now kind of in 7's area. And I'm at 17, which is all the way in West Fayetteville. So,
So I don't see him at all. I still run into some familiar faces. I know a lot of different firefighters through Tyler, so I still run into some familiar faces, say hi. So it's not like working with complete strangers.
Yeah, it's one of the things that I miss so much. I haven't been on shift in 6 years. Is all of my cop friends are now in white shirts, and they've moved up, and I barely know any of the street cops anymore, and I hate it. I absolutely hate it. I jump some calls, and I do my best to keep my skills up and get out and do things, and I get on, and whether it's the paramedics or the police, and I'm like, who are these people? What has the firefighters and cops, we have always been friends who love to hate each other and love to pick on each other and have a good time. Does that relationship carry over into the house too at all?
A little bit. I'll tease him sometimes about stuff. He'll complain about a call, and then I'll come back with, well, top this kind of deal. Like, what you do is in comparison to what I have to do and the types of people I deal with. But there's other times where he gets me. He's like, well, I had to go do this, and you got to sit in your nice, comfy car and hang out at the jail or something like that. So, yeah, it's all friendly though. None of it is serious.
100%. Now, I will say this much, and I'll let Tyler try to prove me wrong if he disagrees, but I have told firefighters for years, when we look at police and fire and whether the cop makes a little bit more or the fire makes a little bit, I'm okay with it because I don't want your job. I don't want your job. I love my job. I don't want yours. So if you make a few extra hours overtime than I got or a little bit more money than I got, I'm absolutely fine with that because your job is not for me. Your thoughts?
Yeah, totally agree with it. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, when I'll tell him about the conversations I have to have with some psych patients sometimes, and he's just like, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you talk to them. I don't like for so long, and the domestics and
yeah. And a lot of times it's we come in and we're in the situation with you for 15 to 20 minutes. And then it's your problem. And then, whatever the case may be, and we're only there for a short period of time. On the flip side, when the fires come along, we always joke the police get there first because they want to be the heroes. They want to try to beat us there. But on the flip side, when we have the fires, we're there for 3-4 hours while you guys are chilling in your cars enjoying the heat.
Cops love watching fires. They love going to the fires and doing the traffic control because they like being nosy. They like seeing what's going on when something is burning.
I like to have them there just to get to know them and chat with them. And like you said, you're developing those relationships with people. You're putting your life in their hands equally, to your partners on some of these calls that we go on. So, what about challenges? What kind of challenges do you face when both of your schedules are hectic, both of your schedules are fluid? We have a snowstorm. By the time this airs, it will have just passed. But right now, we're coming up on a snowstorm. Just had an ice situation. What kind of challenges do you face with those schedules and managing those things?
I guess the biggest thing would be trying to plan everything out. Because of the way our schedules work, I can tell you what day I'm going to work next year, but because it's already pre-planned, it has to be scheduled out. So when little weird things happen, like snowstorms, hurricanes, bad weather, community things that happen, stuff like that, she has the risk of being called in. I have the risk of being called in, especially being on the hazmat team if a hazmat call comes out. So it creates some challenges as far as that stuff goes, and we just have to be really fluid with it and make sure we're not overextending ourselves when we're planning things. And
we have this app. It's a shared calendar, and we have our entire year, our shifts, my court dates, any upcoming trainings or anything planned out.
I didn't even think about court. Court never even came to my mind. Yeah.
Yeah, once a month at least that I have to be in court, whether I'm on shift or off. So we have this calendar and everything goes in it. If he makes a change to the calendar because he has something, I see it on my end. So that really helps. And like I said, we have it planned out a year in advance. So kind of gives us an idea of what we can do and when we can do it. Highly recommend that.
Yeah.
If you're in any dual first responder relationship.
Gotcha. What about relationally? We've talked about, and you don't need to go too into detail. I'm not asking your private lives, but any kind of challenges or advantages when it just comes to being married and doing life together. Any unique things that you've discovered since you became a cop, already into the relationship? Any things you've discovered in that aspect? Kind
of playing off of our schedules. I think the way our schedules work actually work better for us as far as having time off together.
Okay.
And I found that pretty surprising because when I was pregnant with our daughter, they put me on a regular 9-to-5 schedule. I thought I'd get to see him more, and I got to see him a whole lot less because, his schedule, he doesn't always have the weekends off.
Yeah.
Sometimes his 4-day lands in the middle of the week, and then so I don't get to see him as often.
Yeah.
Crazy schedule kind of helps with that, and I found that surprising. How much it helps to have somebody that can relate to you for calls, like understand, the little nuances of being a first responder. So
yeah,
that's helpful.
The way our schedule works out, most months we get between 7 and 9 full 24-hour days off together.
That's awesome.
So, it's probably equal to what most people get that are working normal 9-to-5 stuff, but it's consistent full 24-hour days. And then a lot of times they land back to back. So we'll get 2-3 days together.
Nice.
And then anytime before or after her shift. So if she's working nights, she doesn't go in until 6 p.m. We have that whole first half of the day together. And then if she's working nights, as soon as she gets off, we can still hang out and do stuff. So, it's between 7 and 9 full days and then several half days throughout spattered in there. And
one of the things that I pitch, when I'm out recruiting and stuff, is the amount of vacation time that we as firefighters have. So that's probably got to help too. I'm assuming you're able to take some nice blocks of vacation, even if she's still got to work. It's a win for us.
Yeah, so whenever I'm scheduling my vacation, we look at that calendar a year in advance. And so what I'll do is I'll schedule my vacation on her short week, so she only has to take 2 days off instead of 5.
Nice.
And then we'll plan trips around that, anniversaries, birthdays, that kind of thing.
Until you promote and change shifts, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did not like that look. She's
I really like patrol. I like where I'm at. I think I'll stay here for a little bit. It's
for sure.
I don't know, it's one of those things you can never have enough knowledge in it before you move up. You're just every day is new.
And there is something to be said for just job satisfaction going to work.
Mm-hmm.
If, you want to promote, you want to advance, you want to better yourself, but you also want to make sure you stay happy.
Mm-hmm.
And if you like what you're doing, and it's like me with this role, I never thought I would be in this role for 6 years. And here I am just because I'm really enjoying what I'm doing.
Yeah, exactly. Like I got into this job and because I wanted to enjoy it. So I'm going to keep on enjoying it.
There you go. I like it. So, it's before we run out of time too quick here, anything that I missed that I didn't think of that we could touch on as far as being a married couple in emergency services? That's really what I want to focus on, is people who might be wanting to get into the police department or get into the fire department. What kind of things should they take into consideration when making that decision as a couple?
My biggest thing I'd say was time management, not letting your time slip by and kind of waste away. Being that we have to spend so much time apart, it also makes you really value the time together. So when you have the time off, it makes you really prioritize what you can do during that time. And actually, sometimes we have to have our lazy days where we just lounge around and relax, but we try our best to get out and do stuff. We really like being outside. So traveling to like Raven Rock, UR State Park, that kind of thing, we'll travel out and go to the beach or whatever the case is. Just finding something to do to make memories and really enjoy your time.
There you go.
Figuring out how the both of you best communicate, because this job that is so important. Call outs and hey, I'm gonna be late coming home from work texts and or running bad calls that just leave you upset afterwards. Good calls, just exhaustion from shift work. Just communicating all of that, making sure you have your communication style figured out is very crucial.
You brought up when you come home after a bad call or a bad incident. There was a show, I think it was NCIS I was watching, where this guy and his lady would have what they call the work dump for the first 30 minutes that they get home. So you set a timer and you only have 30 minutes to tell me everything you want to tell me about how stressed you are, how upset you were, whatever happened. And once that 30 minutes is over, we ain't talking about work the rest of the night. Does that something kind of similar where you come in, you get it off your chest, and then the rest of the night try to enjoy it?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, when we first get home, especially if it's like she's off that day and I get off at 8 in the morning, so we have the whole day together. As soon as we're both up, we're rambling to each other about all the stories from our shift and, kind of getting it out, and then we move on through the day.
Yeah. Important to talk about other things other than work, because then it just becomes...
Yeah,
that's not good.
True.
That's not
true.
good.
And it probably might even be better for you that you don't see each other through the course of the day, because then you have stories to tell. Mm-hmm. You have something that you both didn't experience at the same time, and you get home and you're like, well, you were there, so.
Yeah, exactly.
It was interesting when me and her would run calls together. There was numerous times people didn't even know we were married because we're both like making sure we're acting professional out in the public view. There's people around, making sure that there's not an obvious kind of thing going on there. So that was kind of funny.
Yeah, we had a personal like disagreement one night while we were both working, and then I hadn't run a call with him in like a long time, and then of course that night I ran every single call with him, and I was like, this is ridiculous.
I don't want to see your face right now.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, so we're just out here at this Circle K for a vehicle accident, and I'm just not looking at him. He's not looking at me. I'm getting everybody's information from another one of his coworkers, and we're just avoiding each other on this call.
I think I was being petty and walked up and like tried to get information from her about something on one of the drivers, and
I wasn't having it.
Yeah, she just kind of like looked the other way and rolled her window back up.
Yeah, I had a buddy in Pennsylvania that met his wife. He was a paramedic. She was a paramedic. They met at work. They got married and they continued. I don't know what this organization made them think this was okay. They continued to be partners. They were partners on an ambulance for like 2 years, working together, married. And I'm like, I don't know how they managed that. There is no way. Like,
No, I'm glad I got a little bit of separation from him because, then I don't, if we're ever in something, I'm not constantly
yeah.
seeing him or having to run calls with you.
Yeah, that's the way it works too. When something's going on, of course, we'll run with each other all day.
Yeah, and like I said too, like when you experience the same things all day, then what do you have to talk about when you get home? Or I feel like that would make it way more awkward,
Yeah.
Yeah, especially when your entire day was just work. I mean, a whole 24-hour shift, all you have to talk about is work for what happened that day, or 12 hours, and then you go to sleep. What else do you have to talk about?
Yeah. So, all right, guys, as we wrap it up, I said this 5 minutes ago, and then we got into an awesome 5-minute conversation. Anything else that you can think of as you talked about time management, words to those out there who are either entering this world or thinking about entering this world? What do you think?
My big thing, I guess, would be don't let all the downsides kind of scare you away from it. You can make anything work. What you do with your circumstances and stuff like that kind of makes a difference. You'll find little ways to make workarounds and kind of make things happen.
Yeah.
So if you're in a relationship with another first responder or about to be a first responder with another person in it, you can make things work. We thought we'd never be able to make it work with a kid, and we're doing it. So
Yeah, it finds a way to work itself out one way or another, even if you think it won't. Things fall into place. Just take care of each other. Stay considerate, communicate, and you'll be okay.
And lastly, I just thought about this. Which sticker does the kid reach for? The fire badge or the police badge? Have we figured that out yet?
So I one-upped it and brought a plastic fire helmet, so she went for that.
Went for the helmet?
She'd eat the stickers, but I think she'd choose that when she gets a little bit older and won't eat it.
Yeah. Does she gravitate toward your car? Because you guys get to take your cars home. We don't get that luxury.
She does like my car. I'll turn on my little blue lights for her when I'm driving, coming home. She really likes the flashlights on my vest and my radio. The antenna looks very edible. So she's a fan.
Cool, guys. Well, thank you so much for coming down here and chatting with me. I kind of put you on the spot at the last minute, and I appreciate you coming through and chatting with us because it's a good topic. It's something that didn't dawn on me till it dawned on me, and then I was like, oh, all these things we could talk about. So it's a good conversation to have. So thanks for being here
Absolutely.
once again, and thank you for joining us on the Fayetteville Fire Podcast. Be sure to subscribe to Radio Fayetteville on all your favorite streaming platforms to listen to all of our podcasts. Join us again next month, but until then, stay safe, Fayetteville.